Welcome to the Fantasy Syndicate Podcast with your hosts, Joshua Poniatowski and Alex Taylor. Let's talk football.
Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Syndicate Podcast. My name is Joshua Poniatowski, and I'm here with Alex Taylor. What's going on, dude?
What up?
Today, we are not going to be talking about news around the league. We are just going to run through a quick mock draft. So we're going to do a draft. We're going to talk about kind of our thoughts on players and our picks and our position, some strategies as we're going along. So it should be fun. I'm excited to do our kind of our first mock officially for the podcast. So I think it'll be good.
Yeah, I think today's gonna be a fun episode. Just a real quick, kind of give a rundown of kind of what settings we're doing, just because that is relevant when we do a mock. You know, we got a 10-man. We're doing half PPR. We took out any team defense or kicker at the moment. We're just doing one QB, 2 running back, 2 receiver, 1 tight end, and then 2 standard flex positions. You know, just so that kind of gives you a metric of kind of what we're shooting for today.
Yep. And the plan is, you know, we're going to be using the Fantasy Syndicate Draft Kit. Remember, you can get that 100% free if you visit our website or just hit us up. We'll send it to you. We're going to be using that the entire draft and kind of talking through our thought process on players.
And so
all right.
we each kind of got to pick what we kind of wanted for draft slot wise. So Josh took the 3 spot and I went for the 7 spot, like a little bit later in that first round. So
yeah, and you know, I feel like it makes sense, right? Front round type of pick, background gives a good kind of overview of, you know, how maybe you draft in each spot, and we can try different spots as time goes on, and you know, we do different mocks for sure. So,
all right, Josh,
Alex,
are you ready?
Yep, let's do it. Let's do it. So start that bad boy.
Let's start it.
Yeah. All right, so again, it's half PPR. So CMC went off the board at the 101. CeeDee Lamb went off at the 2. Being half PPR, being kind of familiar with that, you know, we're probably going to be able to get some decent quality running backs fairly late. I'm going to go with my number 2 wide receiver. I'm going to pick Tyreek Hill here. I feel like it was an easy draft, easy take. You know, he's been wide receiver 2 for multiple years in a row, top 5 consistently, and that Miami offense is going to be pretty high powered. At the 4 pick, they went Jamar Chase, then Breece Hall at the 5, then Justin Jefferson. I feel like he's, you know, we're not high on Chase. You know, Jefferson, same thing, and now it's Alex. You're up at the 107.
Yeah, I was pretty happy to see Chase and JJ go. I mean, I love JJ still, but you know, with that with that injury to McCarthy, it's kind of like I feel like his ceiling's capped a little bit. So in this 7 spot, I'm really just trying to think either between Bijan or Amon-Ra. Just kind of decide which position I kind of want to value right now. I think I'm gonna go Bijan. Just
Okay,
like that
nice.
upside. And obviously, Amon Brown went right after that. AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, Taylor, Puka, Gibbs, you know, all kind of running right there. Okay. So kind of this value. I mean, I don't really want to go receiver. It kind of jumps down. Now you're kind of in like that Devontae Adams, Mike Evans range. I kind of running back wise. I'm actually gonna go for my number 4. I'm gonna go for Travis Etienne. I know ADP has him a little bit lower, but he's a guy I really like this year. I think him with Bijan is gonna give me a nice combo of 2 young running backs.
Yeah, and you know, going to running back, you know, obviously you're probably going to be set at that position, you know, fairly strong. Kyron goes right after that. Josh Allen going, you know, in the middle of the 2nd round, and then Saquon.
He's worth it.
So, so let's see. I'm just kind of looking at the board right now, see what options I have. So Marvin Harrison sitting there. I'm going to be honest, and then Drake London. I'm not huge on Marvin Harrison or Drake London. Those guys are a little bit farther down on my list. Devontae, you know, obviously I don't think it'd be a terrible pick here. Yeah, so I think I'm going to go with value. So knowing that the guy at the 101 took McCaffrey and, the two team took CD, I think I'm going to go Derrick Henry here. I know he's going to be a touchdown monster. He's going to be focal point of that offense. And Derrick Henry, I feel like, is a consistent guy as far as, people fade him a lot. And this is half PPR, and I still like him in a PPR format. And I know he's going to get a touchdown. So I'm going to I'm going the king there.
Yeah, I like that pick, and yeah, he's reliable, and he's for sure getting his touches. So I like that.
And then around the
Back
turn,
up, it
Drake
was
London went.
four straight receivers.
Yes. So that's typically not great. When I see a run like that where multiple receivers go or multiple running backs go, my thought process is, okay, multiple running backs have gone. Maybe that tier or that level of ranking now is a little bit more depleted. So you usually want to kind of shift gears, go in a different direction. Unfortunately, I just did pick a running back there, so it might have been, I was hoping Olave was going to fall back around me, and he did not make it, unfortunately. So, I'm hesitant to take another running back or wide receiver position here, but let's see who we got options with. So we got Ayuk, Debo. Obviously, Ayuk's in the middle of a trade discussion with the Steelers. Got Mike Williams, Nico, and Waddle. Again, I still like some of the options at running back late. I've been fading Achane a little bit more, just from what they've been talking about preseason and the rookie signed. So I'm gonna go wide receiver. I'm gonna take Nico Collins here, actually. So I'm not going Ayuk. I'm not going Debo. I'm gonna go Nico. I like his talent. I like he's gonna be on a high-powered offense. They're gonna be throwing the ball. I know it's crowded offense, but he's going to be wide receiver 1 in Houston. So I like that pick there.
Wow, couple tight ends coming in hot here. Kelsey and Laporte are both going, so it's kind of like, all right, not really leaning that route. I mean, those are kind of you expect those right around third round is when those start popping off. I double dipped on the running back, so pretty set there. I'm not really thinking that at the moment. I mean, you do have flex spots, so it's not out of the question. Quarterback is kind of tempting right now. I don't want to not have any receivers, so I'm gonna go for my homer pick. I'm gonna do my boy Mike Evans, who I got as my wide receiver 10. Just a great connection with Baker Mayfield, and he's just a touchdown monster. So
yeah, he has been one of the most consistent touchdown guys over and over again.
Oh man, and then a bunch of quarterbacks going boom boom.
Yeah, so we after your pick, we had Isaiah Pacheco go, then Josh Jacobs, then Achane. Achane, I feel like is pretty good value that late in the draft. And then on the turn, somebody took Jalen Hurts, first quarterback, then Debo, then Lamar Jackson, and then Alex, you're up with your pick, and you got another homer sitting there. That could be a potential snag, even though you went running back heavy with
I do have him as my running back 11, and I think that's like good value right now.
For sure, with James Cook, you got some solid running back options.
I'm actually right sometimes I won't go too heavy on homers, just because then it's like, man, then if your team, if the Bucks lose, then I'm angry because the Bucks lost in general, and because my team probably played like poop.
Right, yeah.
Just because I know you're definitely gonna wait on QB, I'm gonna get a little bold. I'm gonna go for my QB number 2. I'm gonna take Patrick Mahomes here.
Oh man, taking a QB early, crazy. Okay, all right, I like it.
I want to give a little diversity because I know you're definitely waiting deep.
Yes, yeah. I mean, unless something happens at a turn somewhere where I'm able to get a stack, and that's in this position you have the opportunity to kind of get some stacks when you're later in turns, and I got Tyreek Hill, so we'll see what comes of it. But I'm here, so I got 2 wide receivers. I feel like I've got 2 solid guys. I got Derrick Henry. I am on the James Cook train. I feel like he's going to see more volume. He didn't have 2 touchdowns rushing and 3 through the air, so he was not touchdown dependent last year, and his production, he was just crazy efficient. So with the increase with Joe Brady offensive, run scheme, I'm going James Cook. Also, just kind of looking at, actually looking at the other teams, it looks like they're wide receiver heavy. So again, they're probably going to take a running back. So I need to snag one, right? They're probably going to go running back since they're dependent here. So I feel like James Cook is the absolute best value. And some of those wide receivers might still be available there for me. All right. So DJ Moore went, then Jalen Waddle, and then DK Metcalf, and then Pittman. So they did the exact opposite. Yeah, exact opposite of what I thought was going to happen there, which isn't a great feeling. However,
love it.
Yes. Again, and just like what I talked about earlier about taking the running back after multiple receivers going, I am not upset with where we're at right now because Cooper Kupp, I feel like, is a steal at this point in the draft. I have him as my 16th wide receiver. Same with Ayuk, right around that range of a little bit above Debo. So I'm going Kupp. He gets at least 30% of that offense target share. We'll see if Puka's wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2. I think it's going to be a very, very close, even split. He was elite a year ago. People were forgetting about that, even though he's an extra age older and, got some injuries. So I'm taking Kupp here.
I love that. I mean, I got him as my wide receiver 13. I think this late, I love that pick.
So it went Joe Mixon after that. This is where the running backs, then Alvin Kamara, then Devontae Smith, and now you're up, Alex.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I got my quarterback taken care of. I got, 2 stud running backs. There's some, some other good value there, but I do feel like I probably need to hit up something for receiver now. Plus, kind of the guys behind me, they don't really have a lot of receivers. Two of them only have one receiver, same as me. So I feel like there's definitely going to be a run on receiver here around this bend. I'm kind of looking around. Who do I like? Zay Flowers, Tank Dell, T. Higgins. I think I'm going to go for my boy in Cincinnati, T. Higgins. I think, he got the franchise tag this year. He's only playing on a 1-year contract. He was kind of banged up some last year, so he had kind of a disappointing year last year. But I think, he's boys with Burrow. I think Burrow knows he wants to get him paid and he's going to be throwing him the rock all season. So I'm going to go ahead and take T. Higgins. It was a little bit of a drop. I mean, I got him right now as my wide receiver 25, but I think there's just like a decent amount of upside there. I'm not a huge Tank Dell or Zay Flowers guy. Amari's a little more reliable. I don't know if there's the upside there with Deshaun, so I'm going T. Higgins.
Yeah, no, I like T. I feel like he's being a little bit undervalued this year. But yeah, it's a good pick. And then off the board, Trey McBride. So the next tight end went CJ Stroud after that. So another quarterback, Zay Flowers, Kenneth Walker at the turn, Tank Dell. A lot of people having trust in, wide receiver 3 in Houston. He's an electric player, but I don't know. That might be a little too soon for him. Amari Cooper, really tied to Deshaun. And then, Alex, you're back on the clock there. So tight end, quarterback, and then a couple running back and wide receivers went. So you got some options here.
Yeah, I'm kind of contemplating. We got reliable running backs there: Aaron Jones, James Conner. Some receivers, people a little more like upside, like maybe Keenan Allen. New change of scenery. Got some young guys. Odunze, Worthy are starting to kind of come into the mix. But I'm actually going to go, I think, tight end. For my tight end number 3, he was just in a car accident, so I think that maybe that shook him a little bit, but apparently from the reports, there's no injuries. So I'm going to go for Mandrews in Baltimore. A guy, like I said, my tight end number 3, I think this late, I love that pick.
Yeah, shoring up the tight end position. Mark Andrews, I got him up there as well, number 3. He, from a tight end perspective, is typically, a fairly consistent player. I think we had him in our B range with, McBride and Laporta. So, pretty elite company. I like that pick. Unfortunately, Monty went immediately after that. I was hoping to maybe get him, James Conner, then Joe Burrow. So I'm up, I'm staying away from tight end for right now, knowing that right now we got 1, 2, 3, 4 different teams at tight end. So I'm not too worried about that. Yeah, you know, I love my guy Zamir. I feel like it's a little bit of a stretch here. We still got Dak on the board.
But using your logic from last time we were at this turn, you gotta imagine these guys gotta go running back at some point.
I mean, you would think, I like my two, my guys at running back. I'm not too thrilled with, these picks right here. I'm Swift not thrilled with. Aaron Jones, I think I got on my fade list. Zamir, I obviously like. I feel like he's going to make it back around to me. So, and this is tough because with George Pickens, he is wide receiver 1 right now. But if that Ayuk trade goes down, could be a little, different story there. So I'm actually going to go value here. I typically am not going to take quarterback, but I feel like at the moment it's going to be the best option, and I'm going to go Kyler Murray over Anthony Richardson.
Wow, you love him.
I know I have AR a little bit higher. And you know what? I'm not going either of those guys. I'm changing my mind. I'm switching it up. I'm going Zamir. They're going to have to take running back here. I'm getting my guy. I like Zamir White. It's a reach. It doesn't matter. And then it went Aaron Jones, Dalton Kincaid, Anthony Richardson, George Pickens, and then Kyler is available here. This is great. So now I'm going to take Kyler. I got my guy with the running back. I got 3 running backs so far, 3 wide receivers. I'm be able to fill my QB role here. Let me just take a quick peek at wide receivers. God, I like some of these guys, but it's a little stretch. All right, I'm going to take Kyler here at the turn, snag that quarterbacks. Again, rushing upside.
Yeah, I love Kyler this year. I think he's getting kind of slept on. He's coming off an injury. I think he's going to be totally healthy. Yeah, I'm into that. 100%. Okay, after your Kyler, like Keenan Allen, Kyle Pitts, DeAndre Swift, a little bit of everything there position wise. I already have elite quarterback and elite tight end. I got 2 running backs, 2 receivers. So right now I just need to kind of, keep pumping those running backs and receivers, get my 2 flex spots filled and my depth filled. I'm not really worried about backup tight end or QB, at least not until like the very last round or something like that. If there's someone I like there. So looking at running backs, Ramondre, Najee, Raheem. Looking at quarterback, wide receivers. Christian Kirk's there, Scary Terry, Rome. My boy Chris Godwin. I think I can maybe wait on Chris Godwin. I think I'm gonna go with the guy who put up 20 touchdowns last year. Everyone's like obsessed with Achane right now, but I think I'm gonna take Raheem Mostert. He just scores, and that's this when you're especially in your flex spot, a guy that's just getting touchdowns. I'm happy with that. After Mostert, it went. Go on.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was saying after Mostert, it went Worthy, Scary Terry, Kittle, Christian Kirk, Ramondre, Rome. And so I was kind of right in guessing that Godwin would be there. I'm going to take Godwin. He's one of my value picks this year. He's going to putting a lot more slot action this year with the new offensive coordinator for Tampa Bay. So I'm excited about this pick as my last starting spot, my last flex spot.
Yeah, and I like Godwin. From what we've been talking about, again, he wasn't very touchdown dependent because Mike Williams was there, and he's still a viable player. I'm be honest, if I was in your position, you have Patrick Mahomes. First of all, Sleeper needs to figure it out. The fact that Xavier Worthy is going before Rashid Rice is just an absolute crime. Do not draft Xavier Worthy before Rashid Rice. I don't care what the ADP says. It's like the old Family Guy episode where he's like, I could give you a mystery box and it could even be a boat. But a boat's a boat, right? Like you are literally drafting a mystery box with Xavier Worthy when you have a boat right in front of you. So, taking Rashid Rice, I feel like, I don't know what that guy was doing. You also had Patrick Mahomes, man. So you could have had that juicy stack. I'm a huge fan of stacks. I love stacks.
See,
how do you feel about this?
And I know the definitely popular trend. People love a good stack. I'm really not a stack guy. It has to just be there and it has to make sense like individually for me to go for it. But like I don't really hype people up for their stack potential. But that's just me. I know that. I feel like that's definitely not the norm. I feel like people love a good stack. So to each their
Yeah,
own.
and yeah, for sure, and that's perfectly fine. You know, I'm definitely a stat guy, and that's why I was a little hesitant on Anthony Richardson and Kyler, was because I was like, you know what, Tua's going to go late. Tyreek's going to have that ball thrown to him by someone. So, you know, the wide receiver 2, you know, give me his
Yeah.
quarterback, and you know they have a good game, which Miami typically is a fairly high scoring offense. You know, I like that there. So, but you know, moving on. So after your pick, it went Prescott, Jaden Reed, Rashid Rice. I was hoping Rice was going to fall to me. I really love him at that pick, but I am actually going to go Calvin Ridley here. I think on a new Titans offense with a new offensive coordinator who is going to throw the ball constantly. I know Will Levis is there, but Calvin Ridley, I think, is going to be wide receiver 1, especially with the D-Hop injury that could keep him out for at least a couple weeks to start off. I love him at this pick, this value, and I feel like he's one of those guys that people are sleeping on because he's on the Titans, you know, and potentially wide receiver 1 on a high pass-heavy offense who, you know, doesn't necessarily have a great defense, so they're going to give up some points there. So I'm taking Calvin Ridley. And then, you know, the next couple picks, it went running back. So it went Tony Pollard, Zach Moss, Najee, Evan Ingram off the board. I think that's a great tight end pick. Little annoyed that happened because I feel like there's a fairly significant drop off on at the tight end position after Evan Ingram. That would have been real amazing had he fallen to me there. I'm avoiding, you know, tight end right now. I'm going to go back and look at wide receiver, running back. I got Jordan Addison, Hollywood Brown, again, injured, couple weeks. Deontay Johnson, Keenan Conan, D-Hop, which I'm going to stay away from. Running back, Jonathan Brooks. So I'm fairly sure up at running back. I got James Cook, Derrick Henry, Zamir White. Chubb is sitting there too. So I'm going to go back to the wide receiver pool. I don't like Jordan Addison. I'm not a huge fan. He had like a 1.2 yards per route run. He was like 60th in separation. I thought he was a product opportunity last year, so I'm fading Jordan Addison this year. But I'm going to go Deontay Johnson. Wide receiver 1, you know, Bryce Young's coming into his year 2. It's probably the cheapest value you can get him as a quarterback. I know people were worried about it, but there's always one team that has like that high ceiling that you don't see
together.
coming. Yeah. So, you know, I'm putting some eggs in Tennessee and Carolina's basket, which, you know, you usually want to stay away from low powered offenses like that. But, you know, I think they'll, you know, there's opportunity there, especially this late, you know, 9th round. When Jordan Addison, Jaylen Warren, Jonathan Brooks, and then Alex, now you're on the clock.
Yeah, so I got my starting lineups all full. So now I can just kind of look for depth, look for upside. You know, I kind of go more reliable in my starting lineup, and then at that point, as I get deeper, I get a little bit more bold swings. Again, I already have quarterback and tight end, so I'm kind of just looking for RBs and receivers. You know, Nick Chubb's there. I like him. Singletary, maybe Trey Benson. Over on receivers, it's a little bit more younger, a little bit more. There's some rookies here. So I'm actually going to go for Keon Coleman in Buffalo. You know, Josh Allen I have, you know, as my number 1 QB, and you know, he's got to throw to somebody. You know, we'll see what happens. I think there might be some potential there. You know, again, on my bench, I'm happy taking a flyer on a rookie here. Man, after that, I was kind of hoping Chubb might linger, but he obviously didn't. So Nick Chubb goes, Bowers, Ladd went, Singletary, Hollywood Brown, Javonte Williams. So now it's back on me. Again, I'm thinking running back receiver, something like that. Looking around. I just want rookie receiver. Maybe I'll kind of come back with the rookie running back. I'm going to go Trey Benson out in Arizona. Again, just, you know, James Conner's super reliable, but he rarely ever plays a full season. So I think there's a pathway to Trey Benson maybe getting some quality touches and making some moves for me.
Yeah, he's definitely running back 2 in that backfield. He's rookie, fresh legs. You know, if anything happens to Connor, you know, Connor's pushing about 30, I think, somewhere around there. So, you know, we always see that potential drop off like we did with Eckler around that age. So yeah, I think it's a great pick, especially at the value and, you know, high tier handcuff running back. After your pick, it went Austin Eckler, JSN, D Hop. Now I'm on the clock. So, at the tight end position, I like Joku. He's the next tight end off the board. I don't think I have to worry about that though, because team 1 and team 2 already have tight ends. If they draft a tight end, they are madmen. So I know he's going to make it back around to me. I've got 4 wide receivers so far. I only have 2 running
Everyone else
backs.
is a tight end. Your last one up.
Sorry, yeah, I'm the last one. So 3. Sorry, I got 3 running backs right now. So I honestly am probably going to stretch a little bit to get my guy, because I don't think he'll make it back around, and I know I'm going tight end. I'm going to pick up Jerome Ford here. He is, again, running back 1 for at least 4 weeks with Chubb being on the PUP list. They don't have a timeline for him to come back, so I'm getting a running back 1 to start the season. I know I already have some depth at running back, but I just love the upside, and we know how consistent running backs get injured, so I like having that depth as an option. So I'm going to go Jerome Ford there. Jordan Love went off. Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. Okay, so Jordan Love just went. Jake Ferguson just went at tight end position, so now they have 2 tight ends. And Brock Purdy went, another QB, and Joku.
Team 1 also has 2 quarterbacks too. They went 2 quarterback, 2 tight end by the 11th.
Yeah,
Love
so that's terrible.
Hey, someone in your league is probably going to do that. You need to be prepared for it.
100%. Yes, 1,000%. Yeah, I agree. Like, this is on me probably for waiting a little bit too long for tight end. But I got sniped a couple places, right? Evan Ingram sniped right before me. 2 tight ends going. I'd have been okay with the Jake Ferguson constellation there, but I'm shifting gears. I'm not going tight end. I know it's probably wise to fill out that position, but I'm not doing it. I think there's too much other value and opportunity. Couple guys available: Christian Watson, Brian Thomas in Jacksonville, Jameis Williams in Detroit, Cortland Sutton. I'm not too high on. Curtis Samuel, he's wide receiver 2. I know Kincaid. They feel like they're going to get majority of the targets. And of course, you drafted Keon. But I'm going to go Curtis Samuel. I feel like he has a low ceiling as far as what, is available to him. There's 240 targets, 2,000 plus yards, a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a pretty rough career. I mean, he started in Carolina with like late year Cam Newton. It was post MVP. I think it was like 2 years after the MVP season. So it wasn't like he had great Cam Newton, and then he's was on Washington with absolutely nothing going on. So I think there's definitely room for growth of what he's been able to show previously. But after you, it goes Christian Watson, Brian Thomas, then Tua. Back on me. What do I do? I'm pretty deep at my running back and receiver now. I've got my elite tight end and quarterback. I can kind of go really any kind of direction I want. Kind of just looking for upside this late. I'm going to go for one of our... What do we have in this? You look really electric. I'm going to go for Tyjae Spears. We were hoping he was going to be beast once Derrick Henry left. Then they brought in Tony Pollard and kind of nerfed him a bit. But I don't know if Tony Pollard's even the real deal or not. I mean, they gave him a decent amount of money. He'll probably get some starts early, but I think Tyjae has the youth and the potential to kind of take over that spot. And he looked really good in that opening preseason game, so I'm going Tyjae.
Yeah, and in the preseason too, we saw that they had a split backfield so far anyway. So, there's, maybe he becomes running back 1, even though they did just pay, Tony Pollard. So unlikely, but, even a split backfield with a pass catching back, right? High throwing offense, there's opportunity there for points.
After me, it went Caleb Williams, Gus Bus, Jared Goff, Tyler Lockett. That's actually good value for Tyler Lockett there. Brian Robinson and Dalton Schultz. Again, I'm pretty at this point I'm pretty wide open, kind of whatever I kind of want or need. And to be a little bit funny, but I think there is really good value here. I'm gonna go ahead and draft TJ Hawkinson. You know, he's
Okay.
not going to start the
Yeah.
season, but he's eventually going to come around. And my God, I love Mark Andrews, but he gets banged up occasionally. So I think they could kind of
Yep.
complement each other well. Start the season with Mark Andrews starting strong, and then if something happened to him, kind of right when that happens, T.J. Hawkinson could have a seamless transition. Worst case, maybe I just get like some really good trade bait down the road to you because you have absolutely nothing at Titan still.
How
And then
dare you?
Goddard goes too.
Uh, yeah. So, I love people picking double tight ends. You do you, man. Do your thing. It always hits. And yeah, I like Hawkinson because literally you're going to put him on an IR spot if you have him in your league. And then, pick up somebody else after the draft, one of those late guys. I was, thinking about Hawkinson, obviously Goddard. I need a tight end. I'm going to keep waiting on tight end. So it's going to make it back around to
At
me.
this point, why not just wait to 13?
What I'm looking for right now, yeah, I mean, at this point, it's a little late. And I'm okay with that. Tight ends, I feel like fluctuate so much that, you can snag a decent one late. Like, look at Sam Laporta. He wasn't going drafted last year. Trey McBride broke out towards the end of the season. Like, there were a lot of guys that you got off waivers in the tight end position.
For sure.
And that's not
Njoku was
super
drafted
uncommon.
and then dropped because he sucked, and then started blowing up again and got picked up. And
Yeah. All right. So for running back, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go a higher. One of our top running back. And again, this is probably a stretch here, but we only got a certain amount of roster spots, so I'm going Tyler Algier. I feel like he's one of the highest leveled rating handcuffs right now, behind Bijan, who went in the first. So I'm going Tyler Algier. Next went Jaden Daniels, Mike Williams, Zach Charbonnet. And this is where I have to pick a tight end. There's literally no options. So I'm stuck between two. Pat Freiermuth, I feel like, is going to get a bump up this year. I know everybody's been talking about it constantly, but with Russ there, if he ends up being quarterback one, there, I feel like there's good value, good opportunity. The other guy I'm looking at is Tyson Hill. I've talked about him as my deep sleeper. Surprisingly, he doesn't have a terrible reliability grade, right? We ranked him at let's see what he ended up getting. I think he did it with a B minus reliability grade, which was better than Dalton Kincaid, Jake Ferguson, Kyle Pitts, Dallas Goedert. So I'm going Taysom Hill. Give me the highs, give me the lows, the peaks and valleys, and I'll be one of those guys that's really just looking for tight ends on waiver wire week in and week out. Next, it went Freiermuth, JMO, Dobbs, and then now Alex, you're up for the last pick. Is that who you were going for?
Yeah, I was planning on doing dubs there. I just feel like I got obviously 2 tight ends, don't need anything there. I got 5 running backs, 1 QB, but none of his QBs are anything. They're just reliable vets that are sitting around. Nobody that I think kind of warrants anything at this particular moment. So I'm thinking receiver. This is my last pick, so this I'm not planning on having to start this person in very often. Right. I mean, I already have four receivers above them. So I can kind of go upside, kind of go a little bit. I don't really need to go reliability here. Just take a little peek. What? Okay, so if I'm gonna go ahead and snag this, hoping that Ayuk trade goes through, I'm gonna trade Ricky Pearsall. And then if that Ayuk trade happens, then his value
it'll be interesting to see who ends up being that wide receiver too. Obviously you would think the rookie would be, but I'm telling you, Juwan Jennings, you better watch out. Wide receiver 2, Juwan, man. And then last was Courtland Sutton, then Justin Herbert, and then Chuba Hubbard, which I love that pick because he is, again, running back 1 to start the season. Games on Carolina, not great. Chuba Hubbard hasn't been exciting, but you're getting a running back this late, so starting running back to start your season. So I like that pick. So, as we can see, so my team, I'm just going to run through my team and then you can run through yours, Alex. But so I ended with Kyler Murray at quarterback, Derrick Henry, running back 1, James Cook, running back 2, Tyreek Hill, wide receiver 1, Nico, wide receiver 2, Taysom Hill, because I had to wait at tight end, Cooper Kupp in my flex, Zamir White also in my flex, Calvin Ridley, DJ, Jerome Ford, Curtis Samuel, and then Tyler Algier. And then who you got?
My quarterback, I got Patrick Mahomes. Running backs, I got Bijan and Travis Etienne. Wide receiver, I got Mike Evans and T. Higgins. Tight end, I got Mark Andrews. Currently, my 2 flex spots, I got Raheem Mostert and Chris Godwin. And then on my bench, I got some youthful upside guys: Keon Coleman, Trey Benson, Tajee Spears, T.J. Hawkinson, Ricky Pearsall. So I mean, overall, I'm pretty happy with my team. I think I got proven vets kind of in my starting lineup, and then upside rookies mostly on my bench.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of rookies. I mean, 1, 2, 3, and then Tajee, he's year 2 pretty much. So, you got almost 4 guys, chilling on your bench with, again, being rookies. They got the opportunity, that breakout opportunity. I probably, it's interesting. I'm a little bit opposite. Like, keep me away from rookies unless we're like talking crazy high value, like Marvin Harrison Falls. But even then, I'm not crazy high on certain rookies.
1, it's on my bench, and 2,
yeah,
Keon Coleman's got clear starting potential. If the Ayuk trade happens, then Ricky's got clear starting potential.
Yeah.
And then I mean, running backs are mostly more of like handcuffy than starters, but I don't know.
And then upside.
So that's it. I guess we'll kind of put these up and then let the people decide.
Yeah, let us know who you likes, whose draft do you like better? Do you like mine or Alex's? And as always, hit us up. Let us know if you have any questions. If you like what you saw, subscribe. That way you can stay up to date with all our stuff. Until next time, go steal a championship, and we'll see y'all later.
Peace.